Don't get me wrong. If I had to pick a rookie of the year at this time,
like today, you had to pick.
Today,
you know,
it's Angel. Hard job, and I do think they understand the dynamics of Angel and Caitlin. So let it be. I'm gonna take the lead of Angel and Caitlin.
The tension between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese has taken the basketball world by storm, with viral moments, taunts, and competitive fire that split fans, analysts, and even former players. Some see it as unnecessary drama, others call it showmanship. But when Dawn Staley, one of the most respected voices in basketball, steps in, her reaction turns heads. Instead of dialing down the heat, she's turning it up, saying this rivalry isn't hurting the sport, it's saving it. In this video, we unpack Staley's powerful statement, the deeper meaning behind her words, and why this generation of women athletes is changing the entire landscape of the game, unapologetically. Rivalries that matter. Dawn Staley wasn't surprised by the drama between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. She embraced it. When the spotlight hit their growing rivalry, Staley didn't flinch. "It's great for the game," she said, cutting through the noise with clarity and conviction. While others debated respect and sportsmanship, Staley saw what truly mattered: competitive fire. Fans love rivalries, always have. They bring out passion, intensity, and unforgettable storylines that go far beyond the scoreboard. So, when Clark flashed the "you can't see me" gesture and Reese returned the favor later, it lit up the internet, but not for the reasons some expected. To those like Staley, this wasn't controversy. It was a celebration of women's basketball reaching new heights. These moments create legends and grow the game. They ignite interest, drive headlines, and pull new fans into the fold. What looked like conflict to outsiders was, to insiders, pure competition. And in Staley's eyes, that's exactly what women's sports need. Bold, unfiltered moments that remind us all, this is more than just a game. She's played in the fire before, coached in the storm, and watched the evolution of women's basketball from silence to center stage. And now, the game's drama has finally matched its talent. "This is what draws people in," she said. "It's not just about stats, it's about emotion, personality, grit." To Dawn Staley, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese aren't just elite hoopers. They're trailblazers showing what women's basketball can be when athletes are free to express themselves. The rivalry, the trash talk, the signature gestures, that's not drama, it's energy. It's what fills arenas, sparks endless TikTok clips, and keeps young girls watching, dreaming, and believing. For Staley, that kind of raw, authentic engagement isn't a problem, it's the future. And in her book, it's nothing short of legendary. This is how the game grows: loud, bold, and unapologetically real. Beyond the headlines. The media loves a headline, and with Clark and Reese, they've got gold. But Dawn Staley is playing a different game. She doesn't see two players beefing. She sees two phenoms changing history. The drama, it's just the surface. What's happening underneath is a revolution. "People see a stare down and think it's disrespect," she explained. "I see pride, fire, belief." That's a critical distinction, because beyond the headlines lies something far more important: a sport finally finding its voice. Women's basketball has lived too long in the shadow of its male counterpart. For decades, the players were expected to smile, play hard, and not ruffle feathers, but Clark and Reese are pushing boundaries, and Staley is all for it. "They're not following anyone's script," she said. "They're writing their own." The beauty of it all: fans are showing up like never before, from sold-out arenas in Iowa to record-breaking national ratings during LSU games. People aren't just tuning in, they're emotionally invested. It's no longer just about wins and losses. It's about who made a statement, who dropped 30, who brought the swagger. Women's basketball has evolved from a game into a full-blown performance, and it's working. Every flex, every stare down, every highlight moment is pulling the sport into the spotlight, and fans are here for every second of it. Staley's not worried about the noise, she's focused on the bigger picture. "This is how we grow the game," she said. "We let these women be fierce, we let them be bold. That's what keeps the cameras rolling, that's what keeps young girls dreaming." The unapologetic era. We're living in the era of the unapologetic athlete, and Dawn Staley couldn't be more thrilled. Caitlin Clark doesn't ask permission before pulling up from the logo. Angel Reese doesn't apologize for celebrating her success. And Staley, she's not telling them to tone it down, she's telling them to turn it up. "Why should they have to shrink themselves?" she asked. They're stars. They've earned that. Gone are the days when women athletes had to be palatable to be accepted. This new generation is done playing nice for approval. Clark is ice cold on the court, calculated, lethal and confident. Reese plays with passion, style and swagger. They're not mirrors, they're contrasts. And that contrast creates electricity. For Staley, it's bigger than basketball. It's about breaking out of the mold. These young women are teaching the world that you can be great and loud. You can compete hard and show emotion. And guess what? That's okay. She refuses to let the critics define the narrative. When one player stares another down, it's not a scandal, it's sports. You think Kobe didn't talk trash? You think Serena didn't let her emotions out? That's greatness? That's authenticity? This unapologetic era is something Staley's been waiting for her whole career. We used to have to fit into these tiny boxes, she said. Now we've got players breaking the box altogether. That's how you change the culture. That's how you make history. The coach's perspective. From Olympian to national champion coach, Dawn Staley sees the game from every angle, and her perspective is crystal clear. What some call drama, she calls growth. Where others see chaos, she sees evolution. The Clark-Reese rivalry, that's the growing pain of something beautiful becoming unstoppable. I've been in this game a long time, she said, and I've never seen this kind of attention. She's not exaggerating. Staley remembers when women's games were an afterthought, barely aired and poorly attended. Now, we're seeing sellout crowds, viral moments, and March Madness games breaking viewership records, and she attributes a lot of that to the boldness of today's stars. Caitlin pulls from 30 feet. Angel blocks a shot and lets you know about it. That's not arrogance, that's confidence, she said. They're showing the next generation what it looks like to own your greatness. As a coach, Staley mentors players to be skilled and self-assured. She wants them to compete with heart and walk with pride. And when she sees Clark lighting up a scoreboard or Reese commanding the paint, she sees validation. That's the culture shift she's been working toward. These girls aren't just athletes, they're storytellers, role models, icons, she said, and the more we let them express that, the better the game becomes. To Staley, coaching isn't just about winning, it's about building a legacy, and right now, that legacy is looking a lot louder, bolder, and more powerful than ever, fueling the growth. There's one thing Dawn Staley won't let slide, the idea that drama is a bad thing. She sees it the opposite way. To her, every heated exchange, every stare down, every Instagram post, it's all part of the fuel, and she's not interested in cooling it down. Basketball is emotion, she said. You take that away, you lose what makes people care. The proof is in the numbers. When LSU and Iowa squared off again, the rematch pulled in millions. Social platforms lit up, memes flew. Every tiny moment was dissected by fans, media, and players alike. That kind of attention isn't manufactured, it's organic, and it's rooted in passion. You want people to buy tickets, give them a storyline, Staley said. And Clark versus Reese, that's the storyline of the decade. She's not exaggerating. This isn't just one viral moment. It's sustained, real-time interest, and that builds careers, revenue, and respect. When WNBA teams draft these players, they're not just getting hoopers, they're getting stars. The ripple effect is massive. Young girls see themselves in Clark's confidence and Reese's swagger. They don't just want to play ball, they want to own the spotlight. That's what Staley has been working toward her entire life, a generation that doesn't ask to be seen, it demands it. This is the growth we've been begging for, she said, and it's coming faster than anyone expected. Culture shift in real time. You can feel it in every game. You can hear it in every roar of the crowd. The culture of women's basketball is changing right now, and Dawn Staley is watching it with pride. What used to be a game fighting for scraps is now one commanding the main stage. This isn't just a moment, she said. This is movement. She's right. Women's basketball is finally being treated like the powerhouse it is, and it's not because the rules changed or the nets lowered, it's because the players refuse to be ignored. The confidence, the flash, the headlines, it's all part of the same revolution. People used to think we had to act a certain way to be respected, Staley said, but now we've got players being real, and people are eating it up. Clark's logo threes and Reese's unapologetic stare downs have become more than just highlights. They're symbols. They say, we're not here to blend in, we're here to dominate. Staley credits this shift to visibility, social media, and fearless athletes who don't flinch under the spotlight. The culture's shifted, and once it does, there's no going back. She's seeing the payoff in recruiting, in ratings, in conversations happening around dinner tables across America. And she knows one thing for sure: the sport will never be the same again. Setting a new standard. For years, the standard was silence, win quietly, celebrate respectfully, blend in. But the Clark-Reese era, that's over. And Dawn Staley's got front row seats to a new kind of standard, one built on fire, personality, and pride. We're not going backward, she said flatly. This is the new normal. In this era, dominance doesn't have to be quiet, passion doesn't have to be filtered. Staley sees in Clark and Reese what she's always wanted for the sport: unshakable presence. They don't play scared, they don't apologize for being too much, and they're setting a tone that every up-and-coming player can feel. This is the model, Staley said. You work your tail off, you show up, and you don't hide who you are. What she's most excited about? The ripple effect. Girls in high school are flexing after buckets. College players are finding their voice. The message is clear. There's room to be great and bold. That's what changes leagues. That's what builds dynasties. We're watching history unfold, she said, and these women are writing it in real time. Dawn's not interested in pleasing old-school critics. She's focused on the future, and if Clark and Reese are the blueprint, then the game's in good hands. Dawn Staley didn't build a Hall of Fame legacy by playing it safe. Her bold take on the Clark-Reese rivalry is a reminder that passion, swagger, and fierce competition are exactly what women's sports need to thrive. For too long, female athletes were told to play nice, keep it quiet, and avoid conflict. But now, the spotlight is shining, the world is watching, and these rivalries are turning games into cultural moments. Whether you're Team Clark, Team Reese, or just a fan of the fire, one thing is clear: women's basketball has arrived, and it's never going back. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments. Is this rivalry elevating the game or dividing it? Either way, history is being made.